Jay.
Hi, this is Sarah Haddon, the Superintendent of Schools for Greenwood Lakes School District.
My name is Ann LaRoe, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
And we're here today to do the public hearing for the school budget for the 2022-23 school year. We have a presentation, but we wanted you to be able to see us face to face for the beginning part of this, and we'll move into the presentation. You'll still be able to hear us. All right, so once again, this is the public hearing for the 2022-23 school year for Greenwood Lake Union Free School District, which is in Orange County, New York. The 2022-23 budget includes the supporting the continuity of instruction for our programs. So all of our main programs that we have, Singapore-based math, reading and writing workshop, foundations, phonics, vocabulary, grammar, cursive, all will continue. In addition, all of our technology initiatives will continue. We have iPads, Chromebooks, we have technology software such as IXL, Achieve 3000, Reading A to Z, Res Kids, the curriculum mapping for the teachers. And then we have our additional programs, which is part of what makes Greenwood Lake so special. We have Spanish in kindergarten through 8th grade. We have Project Lead the Way, project-based learning in all the way up through from kindergarten through 8th grade as well. So we are very proud of the program that we offer here for our students, and all of the great things we do will continue next school year. In addition to the contractual obligations, the 22-23 budget does include some additions. These additions total $104,767. Just over $45,000 of it will go to resealing the blacktop and redoing the line striping, as well as the playground designs on the elementary school playground. We will be creating a human resources and benefits coordinator position in our district office. In addition, we will be combining our payroll and purchasing agent / accounts payable positions into one position. So that is only going to increase the budget by just over $5,000. We, over the course of this year, have adopted the human resources application school front. It will help us with recruiting, tracking our current staff, tracking forms, etc. That is an additional $28,000 for the second half of that implementation next year, and then the price will reduce just for ongoing use of the software. We plan to establish a part-time technology support that will either be contracted or BOCES, or it may be a part-time hire. We expect that to be about $20,000. In our technology department, we currently have one person, and we have more devices in district than we do people. So when you have one person over all of that work, and he's not just over all the devices, but the networks, the infrastructure behind it, it keeps Mr. Lepresti, our technology person, very busy. And so we are looking to get him some support so that we can give teachers in classrooms and students in classrooms additional support next year. In addition, we're looking to bring back Odyssey of the Mind. And then we are lastly looking to create a full-time position to oversee food services. However, we do not believe that's going to have a budget impact at this time, because we believe we're going to be able to cover a significant portion of that under the cafeteria fund, which is separate from the regular school budget. So when we talk about expenditures or how we spend our money, that is done in 3 categories. It goes to program, into capital, and into administration. So what do those include? So program includes all the salaries and benefits for the teachers, the guidance counselors, the teaching assistants, the aides, the psychologists, the nurses, social workers, speech therapists. It also includes our training, costs for the library, student supplies, co-curricular programs, that's all of our clubs, our athletics, and transportation costs. So as you can imagine, that is the largest bulk of our expenditures. And we have a slide, our next slide will show exactly what percentage of our total that goes to. The capital area of the budget is spending money on what I call things and a little bit on people. So it will allow us to do our school bus purchases, do our debt service on buildings. We pay for security out of that, maintenance costs, operational costs. and it does include the salaries and benefits for our custodial staff. And the third component is the administrative budget. And the administrative budget is the salary and benefits for any other staff members. So that's administrators, clerical staff, the business office, central office, curriculum and supervision, planning, evaluation, legal services, and all costs related to the Board of Education. So how does that break down? So that breaks down, the program is 82%, capital is 10%, and administration is 8% of our budget. In terms of actual monetary value, the program is just over $22 million at $22,123,480. There is a decrease year to year that is due to some retirements, and that decrease is just over $115,000. The capital portion of the budget is $2,722,080. And the administration portion is $2,280,095 for a total appropriations of $27,125,655. Don't worry though, that's not all tax levy. That is just a subtotal of all of the expenditures for the district. Revenues is how we get money in the district. So how does money come into the district? Money comes into the district in 5 main ways. We do get state aid. The legislative budget was released April 7th, so we have an idea of what that looks like. But that's always, we have to be a little bit flexible with that because that does change over the course of the year. The tax levy is the second way that money comes in. The tax levy does remain below the tax levy limit this year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while, but that is what we go out to the community forum with the community votes on each year. Then we have the fund balance. So we use fund balance to cover expenditures until state aid comes in, until the tax levy comes in. We also use that sometimes to reduce the tax levy and the impact on taxpayers. Another avenue of revenue are our reserves. I like to call those our savings account. In our everyday lives, that's what we would call it, a savings account. So this year we plan to use our retirement reserve to help offset costs. We do have multiple other reserves as well, but this year we plan to take money out of the ERS reserve, and that's the employee retirement system. And then the last income revenue is interest earnings. So any of our money that's in the bank, just like the money in your bank accounts garner interest, so do our accounts. So, and just a revenue summary, the tax levy accounts for 64% of our total budget. Then we have state aid is almost 30%. It's at 27% of our budget. Then we have the fund balance appropriation at 8% and the reserves at about 1%. So what does that look like in actual dollars information? We have state aid at $7.5 million, the tax levy at $17.2 million, fund balance of $2 million, the ERS reserve we plan to use $230,000, interest earnings is about $45,000. You'll see an increase slight increase in state aid. You'll see a slight increase in the tax levy, and then you'll see a reduction in using fund balance. It's not really. We don't want to have to use fund balance every single year to carry over. The tax levy, as you can see, if you look over here, we're looking at a 1.5% increase to taxes. That is well below what is called the quote unquote 2% tax cap, which really isn't 2%. That's just the colloquial term for it. But our 2% tax cap levy this year was actually 3.95%. So keeping it at 1.5% allows us to continue all the programs that we have in place, all of our extracurriculars, all of our athletics, continue our program at minimizing the tax levy as much as possible. Just again, so just in summary, the current tax levy we're asking taxpayers to vote on is estimated to be a 1.5% increase. For the average taxpayer, it's important that you know that this is a $72 increase over prior year. So over the entire course of the year is only a $72 impact on taxes. And that's for the average taxpayer who has a assessed home value of $30,000, which is the average home assessed value for Greenwood Lake. So yes, for the cost of approximately 1 week of groceries, that is the cost over the course of the year. So here you'll see our tax levy history. This goes back about 10 years, right? It goes back 10 years. And you'll see the levy increase and then the rate increase. So if you look at this column here and then this column over here, this will show the history. So below this first dark line here, this is what we went out with each spring and said, ask the taxpayers to vote on. Then once the town of Warwick assessor finalized all property assessments by August, this is how it ended up actually impacting the taxpayer. And you'll see that traditionally, for the most part, the actual rate increase ended up being less than what we went out with publicly to the voters with in May. Last year, we did something a little bit different. We wanted to guarantee a 0% rate increase. So last year we went and we moved to a 0 over here. And that just, we said to every taxpayer, it was during the pandemic, we had a lot of financial uncertainty. We wanted to make sure that there was really no change to taxes. So instead of focusing on the levy increase, we focused on the rate increase last year and just said we wanted to guarantee that there would be no increase to taxes due to the school taxes. This year, again, we are going back to looking at a levy increase, and we're looking at a levy increase of 1.5%. So we're thinking that the rate increase will also be 1.5%. So again, just to review, the average home in Greenwood Lake is assessed at $30,000. So the increase is $2.43 per thousand. So that total increase is $72.75. And again, that's over the course of the entire school year, $72. So the estimated tax bill for the average Greenwood Lake homeowner would be $4,923. And this slide, again, just kind of reviews what I've just spoken about over the last few slides, but it kind of puts it succinctly into one slide. The proposed budget is $27,125,655. The tax levy as a portion of that total budget is $17,211,696. That amount to get that amount, that tax levy, we are asking for a 1.5% increase to taxes. And again, all the things I said, we worked very hard to keep it under with a limit of 3.95. We are very much under that, going out with a 1.5%. And again, at $72 over the course of the year, approximately $6 a month. Tax relief. Assistant Superintendent LaRoe is going to speak a little bit about the tax relief available to our homeowners.
And for residents, we have 3 major programs of tax relief. We have STAR and the Enhanced STAR program. We have a senior citizen tax exemption and a veterans exemption. The school tax relief program, the STAR program, has maximums that were published. The basic STAR savings is $740. The enhanced STAR savings is $1,746. The senior citizen tax exemption is a sliding scale. In a household with an income less than $19,500, the reduction in assessed value would be 50%. And that again is a sliding scale. So a household income with less than $27,899 would have a reduction in assessed value of 5%. And then we have the alternative veterans exemption. The basic exemption would save the resident $295. The combat zone exemption would yield a savings of $492. and the disabled veterans exemption, $984. For additional information, please contact the Town of Warwick Assessor at 845-986-1125, and they'd be glad to help you. For additional information on the STAR and the Enhanced STAR, please go to the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance website.
So in summary, proposition number 1 on the ballot next week will say, shall the Greenwood Lake Union Free School District budget for 2022-2023 in the amount of $27,125,655 be approved? If for some reason the budget does not pass next week, we would move to a contingent budget. The contingent budget is $26,810,465, which represents $315,190 less than the proposed budget. With that reduction, we'd have to look at areas to save that amount of money, that $300,000. The types of things that we would look at for potentially reducing would be athletics, co-curricular, equipment, purchases, some salaries, professional development, student materials and supplies, community use of buildings. That would be decided by the Board of Education, but these are the types of things that we would look at, again, to save that $300,000 if the budget is voted down. Proposition 2 is for a capital project. I recorded a separate video specific to the capital project and posted that to our YouTube and our Facebook pages earlier today. They will be up and available as well on our website between today and tomorrow. But just a brief overview, the capital project includes, the proposed capital project includes infrastructure upgrades at both of our school buildings, including new roofs at both buildings, replacing an underground water tank, redoing the floors at the middle school, remodeling the bathrooms at both schools, upgrading an elevator, and then redoing the locker rooms at the middle school. In the project summary that I did this afternoon in the video, we have lots of pictures so that you can see exactly what we're talking about in this project and what work needs to be done and why it needs to be done. The proposed capital project is designed so that there will be no additional impact to taxpayers. We plan to use the capital reserve for this. So we would be moving the capital reserve fund into a capital spending account. So again, the second proposition says, shall the Board of Education of the Greenwood Lake School District be authorized to construct alterations and improvements to the district school buildings, including to replace roofs, undertake interior reconstruction and related improvements, and the purchase of school buses to expend, therefore, including preliminary costs and costs incidental thereto, an amount not to exceed $6.32 million, and the amount of $6.32 million shall be transferred from the district-wide improvements and bus capital reserve fund for such purposes, provided that the costs of the components of the project may be reallocated among the components if the board determines that it is in the best interest of the district. And that is a whole lot of words to just say, can we move the money from the reserve into an account that we can then use to fix the things that we say we need to fix? And again, please see the video that is posted separately on our YouTube channel for that. You can also reach out to me directly if you have any questions about the project, what it entails, or why we need each of the components of the project. And then the third and final thing on the ballot next week will be the Board of Education election. There are 2 spots open. They are currently held by Susan Seltzer and Michelle Kaiser. We have 3 people running for the 2 spots. Each seat will hold a 3-year term. And the 3 candidates are Susan Seltzer, Michelle Kaiser, and David Clifford. We thank each of them for running and wish each of them the best of luck next week. Finally, if you are not going to be in district next week on Tuesday between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. To come to the elementary school and vote, you can request an absentee ballot by contacting Mary DePietro, our district clerk. You simply need to call either one of our school buildings and hit extension 51100, and she will be very happy to explain to you how to get an absentee ballot. Just next steps, we have the Board of Education Candidate Forum on Monday, May 16th. The Greenwood Lake PTA will be sponsoring that and putting out more information about that soon. And then we have the Board of Education annual meeting and the board election and vote day. And again, the vote is at the elementary school on Tuesday, May 17th from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Thank you. And again, this is Sarah Haddon, Superintendent of Schools, and Anne LaRoe, our Assistant Superintendent for Business. And we thank you for watching our public hearing. Have a wonderful night.